Okay, we're back, and now that we've covered intervals, we will now go back to notes and their nomenclature. Notice we didn't state the names for the black keys. Now remember we spoke about a whole step and half step movement while we're dealing with interval. This is a half step movement. There's a half step, and then from here to here it's a whole step. Okay, so these black notes are usually referred to as accidentals. They do not have names of their own. They derive their names from the white notes, either the notes before them or the notes after them. So, with that understanding, for us to be able to give this a name, it has to be a name that is derived from this. And for us to be able to give this a name, it has to be a name that is derived from this, either this or this. Same with this. For us to give this note a name, it has to be a name that is derived from either this note or this note. Same with this. For us to give this note a name, the name has to be derived from either this note or this note. Okay, so this is C. This note is going to be called C sharp. Why? Meaning we are sharpening C. What does it mean to sharpen? To sharpen means to raise a note by a half step. To sharpen means to raise a note by a half step. On the other hand, to flatten means to lower a note by a half step. So if I'm on E, for instance, and I want to lower E, or I want to flatten E, all I need to do is to lower E by a half step. Remember, we spoke about half step when you don't leave a note in between. So if I drop E by a half step, I have flattened E. So that note will now be called E flat. You get that? So that's it. So this is C, and this note will be called C sharp. You write the C with a hash sign in front of it. That's the sign of the sharp, a hash sign in front of it. So this will be called C sharp, and this will be called what? D sharp. Now, pardon me to explain this. This is called C sharp when you are moving towards the right. That's you're progressing, you're ascending, you're sharpening. But when you're moving from right to left, as you're digressing, it also will be called D flat. So if we're moving towards the right, this is C sharp. But if we're moving from right to left, this will be called D flat. So all the black keys, they all have two names each. In music, they call them N harmonics, N harmonics, En harmonics, any note that has more than one name. And that's because the name is dependent on the direction of the movement you're taking. So this will be C sharp if we're progressing, sorry about that, and this will be D sharp if we're progressing. Then this is E F, and this will be F sharp if we're progressing. This will be G sharp. This will be A sharp, B, and then C. So if we're digressing, this will be C, B. Now take note, you can't flatten a natural. I hear people call this B C sharp. That's wrong. In music, you can't flatten a natural. Naturals are all the white keys. All the white keys are naturals. They are natural frequencies. You can't flatten a natural frequency. They were not derived. These other ones were derived from the natural frequency. So you can't flatten a natural. So there's nothing like C flat. No. This is C, and then this is B. Then when you're going this way, this is called B flat. This is A, and then you have A flat, then G, then G flat, then F, then E, then E flat, then D, then D flat, then C. So the name is dependent on the direction you're taking. Now, when you're playing, you don't have to put that in mind. Whatever name you call it, either sharp or flat, you're correct. They are both acceptable. But for the purpose of understanding, I have to explain it this way. So if you're progressing this way, they are sharps. If you're digressing this way, they are flats. So I'll take it one more time. So you have C. This will be C sharp if we're progressing. So let's assume we're progressing now chromatically. And then this will be D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and C. Then B flat, we're digressing now. A flat, G flat, F, E, flat, D, D flat, and C. So that is that for notes and their nomenclature. See you in the next lesson.